Patnaik sir. So I will start his class. May it will start a little delay. No problem. Sir can continue further. Okay. So there is no time limit. So as long as sir will not complete the course, so to sir can continue. So I welcome to sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
This is
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon. This is Deba Patnaik, and today's class is very interesting one. Uh, this is of rural development paper 102, and I will be starting the unit 3. So in the unit 3, you will find the theme of the rural development, how the rural development is very prominent, and particularly in the rural mountain.
ଏଇଟା ବେଶୀ ଭଲ ହବ ନା କାହିଁକିନା ଦେଖ ଆଉ କୁଆଡେ ବି ତ ନେଟ୍ ଯାଉନି ଏଇ ଗୋଟିଏ ଜାଗାରେ ଆସୁଛି
Santosh sir,
हाँ sir.
mute କରନ୍ତୁ, mute କରନ୍ତୁ.
म्यूट କରୁଛୁ
ଏବେ ଶୁଭା ହଉଛି? Hello.
ଆଜ୍ଞା, continue କରନ୍ତୁ sir.
Right. Today's class is something different from all other papers. This deals with and this is about the employment generation for the rural youth. In most of the cases, the moment we say rural development, everybody is anxious to know what sort of development takes place, particularly in the field of rural development. But the rural development is one of the major subject which provides not only the directives of development of self, the village, the road connectivity, the housing, whatnot, everything. But particularly, this paper deals with the employment generation scheme. So this employment generation scheme, through different schemes like you may say that why this rural development deals with the employment. The employment actually the most one of the important aspects for the development. Where there is no money, the development becomes very either slow or not interested by the public or not involved the people's participation or the overall the rural development program itself will become something defective. That is why the schemes like Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana, which has been established in our country, throughout the country, which generates the employment opportunities for the rural youth. Actually, what the rural youth is concerned about this, the main thing is globally the situation is no different. Small or medium enterprises generate 78% of all jobs in Japan and 1960. 69% jobs in Korea. Keeping that in the example, the uh, so-called the Indian government also introduced a scheme like with self-dependency, self-employability, or skill development, or you can say the rural youth employment generation program. So the Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana, it actually uh, provides about 7 lakhs enterprises and consequential employment for more than 1 million educated unemployed youth in the last 4 years. So the eighth 5-year plan initially in 1994-95, it has been in operational in both urban as well as the rural areas. You'll be surprising how this volume of youth are getting employability in 5 years plan with the with the plan target of 11 lakh beneficiaries with an annual target of 2.20 lakhs beneficiaries in PMRY. It including 10th 5-year plan also, it has increased to 11 lakhs. So like that, it goes on increasing from year to year. But how the scheme is lucrative. In fact, everybody is interested, but they probably due to the wages or the remuneration maybe a little bit lesser, or it is not that lucrative for educated youth. That is how the program might have, I can't say failed, but somehow reluctant. But there is a possibility of surveillance or the uh, existence once to meet the basic needs. So the beneficiaries eligibility criteria is PMRY is a bank operated scheme for creating entrepreneur enterprise and is meant for the educated unemployed youth throughout the country in both rural and urban areas. The idea behind this scheme is both the rural and urban. Wherever the youth is there, they should be employed first. The nation's most important concern is that employability in the age group of 18 to 35. That was the criteria given, and the states like Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, northeastern regions, Uttarakhand, the upper age limit was extended up to 40 years. Similarly, the educated unemployed who belongs to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, ex-servicemen, physically handicapped or women, the upper age limit is extended up to 45 years. But today, surprisingly, we find most of the people from the rural areas they migrate to different neighboring states or the urban areas or the cities, metropolitan cities, because the probably the prime minister's um, uh, Rozgar Yojana PMRY is not that lucrative or suitable for the Indian, I mean the rural based people, because everybody expect more. So the limitations are there for the government program. Since the Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana comes under the government scheme, the scheme provides you the, uh, the the minimum financial sanctions. So it cannot give you the as much as you demand or as per the requirements of the market, and also the scheme is not that I mean uh, uh, attractive. Particularly, the women will be paid lesser, or the amount may be sufficient for them. For the men, they may need more, and the age criteria is there. Everybody cannot be employable or employed in this scheme. So only the eighth class passed candidates will be preferred. Education is again required. So some illiterate innocent people may not be considered, and it's a recognized approved institution for the for the 6 months they have to undergo a training like thing in skill development, so that they will be considered under the scheme of Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana. So it's a residency. In order to eligible under the scheme, it is necessary that conditions that beneficiary is a permanent resident of that area of the village at least 3 years. There is a relaxation for this condition for the married men of Meghalaya and other married women from the other country or a state or a district like. So for both the categories, the residency criteria applies to these spouses or in-laws. Again, the reservation. The reservation is meant for the weaker sections. Preference is to be given to women. The scheme envisages 22.5% reservation for the SC, ST, and 27% for the other backward classes, OBC. In case of SC, ST, OBC candidates are not available, the state, union territory government can consider other categories for candidates under PMRY. So this is a very lucrative scheme where the rural areas have got an opportunity to uh, to lead their life at their own village, at their doorsteps. But in most of the cases, the program was why failed or not publicized or not familiar or not why the people are not accepting it. There may be so many other reasons. Let us not go by that drawbacks, but we'll see the positive side of that scheme. The project cost subsidy and marginal money facilities are also there. So the scheme is good, but maybe at the time of its implementation, there are some problems and some bottlenecks are arising. In fact, uh, this most of the rural youth they may not be knowing. ଅଧିକାଂଶ କ୍ଷେତ୍ରରେ ଗାଁ ଗହଳିରେ ଯୋଉ ଯୁବକ ମାନେ ରହୁଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ଏ ସ୍କିମ୍ ବିଷୟରେ ବିଶେଷ କରିକି ଜାଣିନାହାନ୍ତି। ଯଦି ବା ଜାଣିଛନ୍ତି ସେମାନେ ଠିକରେ ୟାର କଣ ନିୟମ, କେତେ ପଇସା ସେ ପାଇବେ, କାହା ପାଖକୁ ଯିବାକୁ ପଡିବ, କେମିତି ଦରଖାସ୍ତ କରିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ଏବଂ ତାଙ୍କୁ ୟା ଦ୍ୱାରା ଘରେ ବସି ବସିକା କୋଉ କୋଉ ସ୍କିମ୍ ଗୁଡା ତାଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ ଉପଯୁକ୍ତ ଏଗୁଡା ସବୁ ନ ଜାଣିକି ସେମାନେ କଣ କରନ୍ତି ନା ଜଲଦବାଜିରେ ପଳାନ୍ତି ସହରକୁ। ସେଠି ବହୁତ ଅସୁବିଧାର ସମ୍ମୁଖୀନ କରନ୍ତି ବା ତାଙ୍କ ନିଜ ଗାଁ ଏବଂ ରାଜ୍ୟ ଛାଡିକି ଅନ୍ୟ ରାଜ୍ୟକୁ ପଳାନ୍ତି କେବଳ 2 ପଇସା ଅଧିକା ପାଇବେ ବୋଲି, ଅଥବା ସେଇଠି ଭଲ ଚାକିରି ଖଣ୍ଡେ ପାଇବା ଆଶରେ ପଳାନ୍ତି। କିନ୍ତୁ ଏଇ ସ୍କିମରେ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ବି ଅଛି, ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ କଷ୍ଟ ବି ଅଛି, ସବସିଡି ବି ଅଛି, ମାର୍ଜିନ ମନି ବି ଅଛି। ଯଦି ଯୁବକ ମାନେ ଯଦି ଚାହାନ୍ତି ଏକାଠି ହେଇକି 3-4 ଜଣ ବା 10 ଜଣ ମିଶିକି ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟ ବନାନ୍ତେ ଆଉ ସେ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟଟାକୁ କେମିତି ସେମାନେ ନିଜେ ଦାୟିତ୍ୱ ନେଇକି ଚଲେଇବେ, ସେ ଗାଁ ଗହଳିରେ ହିଁ ଭଲ ଭଲ ସ୍କିମ୍ ଗୁଡା ସେମାନେ ବାହାର କରିକି ଚଲେଇ ପାରନ୍ତି। ସରକାର ଯେହେତୁ ଏଇଟା ସରକାରୀ ବିଶେଷ ଧ୍ୟାନ ନ ଦେଇ ଲୋକ ଭାବନ୍ତି ହଁ ଏମାନେ କଣ ପଇସା ଦେବେ, ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରୋଜେକ୍ଟର 2 ଲକ୍ଷ ଟଙ୍କା ସେମାନେ ଦିଅନ୍ତି ଛୋଟିଆ ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ପାଇଁ ଆଉ ସର୍ଭିସେସ ପାଇଁ 1 ଲକ୍ଷ ଟଙ୍କା ଦିଅନ୍ତି ଆଉ ବିଜନେସ ସେକ୍ଟରରେ ଏଗୁଡା ସବୁ ଆମେ କରିପାରିବା ଇଣ୍ଡିଭିଜୁଆଲ ଏଣ୍ଟରପ୍ରେନ୍ୟରସିପ ହିସାବରେ। PMRY ଯଦି ଆମେ 4-5 ଜଣ ମିଶିକି ଯଦି ହାୟର କଷ୍ଟରେ ଯଦି ବା କରିବା ମ୍ୟାକ୍ସିମମ୍ 10 ଲକ୍ଷ ଟଙ୍କା ଆମକୁ ଋଣ ମିଳିବ। ଆଣ୍ଡ ଏଇଟା କୁଆଡିକି ନୁହେଁ, ଆମକୁ ଦରକାର ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ 10 ଲକ୍ଷ 20 ଲକ୍ଷ, ଯାହାଫଳରେ କି ଆମେ ପୁରା ମାଲାମାଲ ମହାଜନ ହେଇଯିବୁ। That is how this scheme has miserably rather failed or not attractive, or most of the youth are not coming forward to avail the benefit or the particular this yojana. Secondly, not only youth, even men and women, but the same scheme is also extended for self-help groups. You know self-help group. ମହିଳା ମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ଗାଁରେ 10ରୁ 20 ଜଣ 15ରୁ 20ରୁ ମହିଳା ମାନେ ଯଦି ଏକାଠି ହୁଅନ୍ତି ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଭଳିଆ କରନ୍ତି ଆଉ ସେମାନେ ସବୁ ମାସରେ ଗୋଟେ ଜାଗାରେ ମିଟିଂ କରିକି ତାଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ ବିଭିନ୍ନ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟକ୍ରମ ଗୁଡା ଯଦି ଆଗକୁ ନିଅନ୍ତି, ତାଙ୍କର ଘରେ କାମ ଦାମ ସାରି କିଛି ସମୟ ଯଦି ସେମାନେ ସେଲ୍ଫ ଏମ୍ପ୍ଲୟମେଣ୍ଟ ବା ସେଲ୍ଫ ଫାଇନାନ୍ସିଂ ବା ସେଲ୍ଫ ହେଲ୍ପ ଗ୍ରୁପ ଗୁଡା ଯଦି ଜରିଆରେ ଯଦି କିଛି କରନ୍ତେ, then it's also a significant eligibility criteria laid under the scheme. Volunteer ଏଟା volunteer ରେ ଆସିଯିବ। ଯେତେ ସେ କମେଇବେ ସେତିକି ତାଙ୍କର, ଆଉ ଯେତିକି ଭଲ ସେମାନେ ରୋଜଗାର କରିବେ ସେଇ ପଇସା ତକ ତାଙ୍କର। ତ 5ରୁ 20 ଏଜୁକେଟେଡ ଓମେନ ମାନେ ଯଦି ଏକାଠି ହୁଅନ୍ତି, ସେ ଝିଅ ପିଲା ହଉ କି ଶାଶୁ ହଉ କି ବୋହୂ ହଉ ଯିଏ ବି ହେଇଥାଉ କାହିଁକି, ସେ ଗାଁର ମହିଳା ହେଇଥିବ ଆଉ ସେମାନେ ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ ଗ୍ରୁପ କରିବେ ଅପର ସିଲିଂ ମାନେ ଋଣ ବି ନେଇପାରିବେ ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ଜରିଆରେ। ଏବଂ ମହିଳା କୋଷ ବୋଲି ଗୋଟେ ଭାରତ ସରକାରଙ୍କର ଗୋଟେ ଅର୍ଗାନାଇଜେସନ ଅଛି, ସେଠୁ ବି ସେମାନେ ଲୋନ ନେଇପାରିବେ ଆଉ ସେମାନେ ଯାହା ଚାହିଁବେ ତାହା କରିପାରିବେ। ଯେମିତି କି ପୁରୁଣା ମାନେ 10-20 ବର୍ଷ ତଳେ ସବୁତକ SHG ଗ୍ରୁପ କେବଳ ଗୋଟିଏ କାମ କରୁଥିଲେ, କଣ ନା ପାମ୍ପଡ ବେଳ ନହେଲେ ବଡି ପକାଅ କିମ୍ବା ଆଚାର ବନାଅ, ଖଲି ବୁଣ କିମ୍ବା ଯାହା ଯାହା ସେଠି ମିଳୁଛି ଫରେଷ୍ଟ ନ୍ୟାଚୁରାଲ ରିସୋର୍ସେସ ତାକୁ ନେଇକି କିଛି କାମ କର। ଯେମିତିକି ବାଉଁଶ ତିଆରି ହେଇଥିବ କେତେଟା ଆର୍ଟିକଲ, ଏସବୁ ସେମାନେ କରୁଥିଲେ। କିନ୍ତୁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ the trend has been changed. The the modern civilization made the schemes very liberal. Whether you are educated or uneducated, every woman is eligible to come under this scheme. They can do wonders, not only uh, by physical labor, but intellectually. If a woman group formed once in a month takes a decision of good business promoting activities, then the SSG group becomes the top or the uh, most beneficiary organization in the society. They have to think two things. One is what will be benefited to their group. They should work in the interest of the group first. Second, what are the loans available? Who are the banks offering them the loans, subsidiary, and also the schemes for different these things. Sometimes state government also gives matching grant, subsidy or whatever it is for their better scope. And the only thing is the time surplus with the each woman that should be properly utilized sitting at their doorsteps. So this is the most interesting, and in the India it has proved a miracle that a woman can do the best than a man, and the production should be very very important in aspect like rural based artisans, rural based productions, rural based natural resources availability product, schemes, and a woman thinks whatever she likes, not only in in the sector of business, but in the sector of promoting the education, promoting the fruit products, different food products like hotel industry, hospitality, tourism, and vehicle transportation. All these things, the decisions can be taken across the table by the leading women group, and they can invest the money which they have collected, and they go on, multiplying that amount every year, and they should be well trained in accounts, and they know how to make a ledger and how to make a cash book and accountability to be maintained. So the strong and the best women SSG group is the best example for the rural development, for the village development, or you can say the development of that particular group, those who are contributing and devoting their time and doing wonderful job, and they will be an exemplar to the other neighboring villages. So this is how self-help groups also comes under the same scheme, but in the shape of projects, subsidiary, and margin money, and they can have a group meeting like, and they can also contribute their services. So rural development is not a weak. Rural development is not losing anything. Rural development is the common platform for each and every citizen to develop his own career. And rural development is such a subject one can do wonders sitting at their home, and not necessary to run after here and there, but just doing something development of miracle. So the real research or innovation starts from the mother's lab at their own village. So this is how we have to think carefully and go ahead with the limited the resources available by the government, by different organizations. This is how the self-help groups and the uh, Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana, this works mostly for 3 to 7 years after the initial this the the repayment schedule will start from 3 to 7 years, and it will become revolution fund. So the fund will be going on increasing every year, but if you carefully handle it, and accountability is there. So this is how the rural development, the subject is very, very interesting one, and the implementation involvement of the officers identified is selection of specific allocations, identification of the support system required by the beneficiary, effort service and close liaison with the banks and other local agencies concerned with the industry, trade, and service sector, the district level task force committees, the facilitating these activities. The task force comprises a chairman who is a senior officer of the implementing agency, preferably the head of the agency, that is the general manager, the district industries center director, in the case of SISI, Additional Director Industries and Director of Industries or the Deputy Commissioner of District, other members of the task force or the representatives, uh, and also the representatives of lead bank, lead uh, two leading banks, district employment officer, one of the member of the district SISI, other implementing agencies, one officer as a member secretary to be nominated by the chairman of the task force, and also the chairman may be co-opt one or more members from reputed non-governmental organizations. Then women concerned, these are all the officials those who are supporting for this noble prime minister's Rozgar Yojana. And so it is a 100% government owned organization. How best we can develop it with all the supporting officials I mean inducted or included or having role in this promotion of self-employment or the employability of the rural youth. So here, women concern is again it is something different. The women concern programs they have their own way, and they can develop whatever is better for them. The women associated with the welfare of women to the meetings, instructed inviting women associations and also the task force committees, besides the lead bank and leading banks, other implementing banks. Also, they attend the district task force, continuing meetings on a rational, rotational basis. Then comes responsibility. So here, the women, particularly from Indian culture and also from the angle of Odisha, if you take it as a challenge, you will find some peculiarities here in implementation. Most of the women they don't come out of their house because they still we have a traditional method of living. So most of the women they think this is not my job. So why should I intervene it? And some women, though they are interested, the situations does not permit them. The family may be against for such deeds, or some people are too rich, they don't want to participate further in any of the employability schemes. And some bad, needy persons, those who are very poor and they are interested, but they cannot, they are not afford to join, or they are cannot uh, do the job satisfactorily because of their innocence, ignorance, illiteracy, and poverty. So these things should be removed from the minds of the women, particularly in the at the village level. So the lot of awareness is required through information, education, and entertainment process of spending their time lavishly among the women within their area of specific, then the program will be a successful one. So the SSG groups is an exemplary, exceptionally for the women, by the women, to the women. So the schemes are many, not necessary that they have to do a particular job, or uh, they are compelled to do a particular category of the work. So they can choose the best business, lucrative money earning or money fetching, or within a short period, more money process. All these things get together. It can be developed at the grassroots level by just joining hands together. So this is the uh, Johar Rozgar Yojana. Let us promote this scheme once again so that no unemployability will be there. At least people will be benefited. Of course, the educated people they may be reluctant to work at the lower remuneration at their doorsteps. So, so district PMRY committees also they're formed nowadays. So in the district PMRY, the everybody is aware that it has got a resource allocation funding for doing different activities. In every financial year, the budget is being allocated particularly to take up these things. Subsidy is also pronounced and announced. The entrepreneurial activities also designed, or the rural youth can join easily in different schemes of their choice. So these are all meant for the not only for the women, for the rural youth. So the youth force is well protected, I can say. The rural development studies, it needs more popularized in the villages, and particularly the opinion leaders, the panchayat members and sarpanch, BDOs and all other related particular, public opinion should be gathered and everybody should be motivated to make this program success. So here, since government agencies are involved, like CEO DRDA is there, district collector himself is the chairman, and district employment officer is there. Lead bank managers also there. So it's a forceful approach by the government, and it's a acceptable, uh, very good initiative for the rural youth at the panchayat level. So here and the field activities also can be undertaken or guided by the principals of engineering colleges, polytechnics, industrial institutions, and district statistical officer, district education officer, and also the training representatives of banks. All this cooperation and coordination will be there once we look into it and take up this particular assignment on the challenging basis. So here the most interesting thing is the rural development is protected by all means. Even the after independence also, the agriculture, the banking sector, and also the industrial sector, everybody they join hands for the better rural developmental programs. So the only thing is when we speak about the rural development, always we think of a village where there is no facilities, where there is no road to lead, and there is no life at all, and no commercial establishments, no raw material, no all these things will come into our mind. But once you establish, try to improve that particular village or the infrastructure available there. Slowly, every village will come out of with some unqueue or the uh, very interesting products or the industries, whatever we need. So this is the challenge between the rural youth, and the rural development professionals, as well as the bureaucrats or the government employees, including the people's representatives at the grassroots level. For all these things, the major thing is training. Unless one person is trained, he cannot do anything. Once the training is given, uh, to undergo entrepreneurial developmental training, 15 to 20 working days for a project, and the person will become perfect. And industry sector, rupees 1000 per case, inclusive of stipend, 300 per day. These are all the old statistics given, but we can revise it from time to time, and we can see that you earn by learning and exhibit your skills in which field you are interested, and that can lead a major a good result oriented for the better prospects of your career. So the training at the rural base may be one of the interesting this thing. The PMRY conducts these training programs exclusively for the youth, and these training programs are also certified, are back to the different categories of people, those who are suffering in the society. So the special training courses exclusively for SCs, STs, and women entrepreneurs will be more. It is already there existing, and it should be explored and availed by each and every rural mass, so that in future there won't be uh, lagging behind of skill, and the entrepreneurship once you gain, you are the best. Pathfinder for future generation. So this is the scheme linked. It's the evergreen. It goes on continuing. No way you can stop it. Not only the financial assistance, but also you will get a thrilling, and your knowledge is recognized, and you will be the best among the lot. So basically, in this lesson, we can teach. You can learn some more things, and the other things like the automatically you will gain the potentiality of the courses, different courses. Where there is will, there is a way. You can find out your career of your own, and at the same time, you can change the scenario of the village by introducing new schemes, new industries, new initiatives, and a bread earning process for the future generation. So this is all about the what's called rural employment generation programs. REGP is also there, and it is also linked with Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana. REGP is also the same rural base. For example, the village and khadi industries here, uh, the industries, public sector mainly involved in this. Every major panchayat should have a public sector undertaking where the industry should grown up for for the benefit of the rural youth. So the activity is a continuous process. Let us not close this subject only once a person gets some job and he's well educated. Well trained, and he's carrying on his business. Let others should suffer. No, it should be a continuous process. One should learn and teach the other. So learning and teaching is a cycle form one after another. It takes place. Here again, you have a enough scope as rural employment generation program. We call it as REGP. What is this REGP? REGP is nothing but it's a combined together undertaking, a public sector undertaking, like where the high power committees are formed, rural employment generation programs. It started in April 19, first April 1995. Which its objective is to generate employability to millions of the rural youth throughout the country. Though here the major public sectors like steel industries, village and khadi industries, and also the institutions like reputed. These are all mainly meant for to promote this particular program. Project may be costing 25% of the cost will be borne by the um, uh, state government or the central government. There is a margin money. The project cost may be 10 lakhs to 25 lakhs, and the marginal money is 25%. So if one can start easily a project, depending on the local areas, and the SC, ST, OBC, women, physically handicapped, taking everybody under consideration, small units of projects can be started, so that the employability will be within the control. Banks also will sanction 90% of the project cost in the case of general category, and borrowers of 95% of the project cost are beneficiaries. And here the margin money is there. If you repay the amount, you'll get again the loan, or the margin money is given to you for your betterment. So these are all the schemes. These are all the God gifted schemes. But how many of us we know? We always think about the white collar job in a town or a city where we can lead a happy life. We think, but we neglect the real fruits given by the government or giving in the different schemes under the rural development. So this is more interesting thing, and most of the public sector banks, they are with the rural mass, so they are bound to. I mean, they are meant for the development of the rural areas. So everybody will join hands for the better understanding of leading a projects and other things. And every citizen of India has got a right to have his own choices. Uh, I mean, entrepreneurship or a business or an industry of his choice. So here, the most interesting thing is the funds. The funds needs to be rotated. Suppose simply you get the loan from the bank, keep it in a closed almirah, it is of no use. So it should be utilized properly, creating one job, the target fixed, and the average amount of funds required for creating one job. The budget for the program is finalized and placed before the Parliament. Funds are allotted for margin money, subsidiary, entrepreneurship, development, training, marketing, including exhibitions, festivals, awareness camps, and publicity and, and promotional activities. So any activity, whichever you want to do it, it should be properly designed. So without planning, you cannot do it. ଆମେ ଯଦି ସ୍ୱାର୍ଥ ଦେଖିବା ଏଇଟା ମୁଁ କରିବି ମୋରି ପାଇଁ କରିବି ମୋ ନିଜ ପାଇଁ କରିବି ଆଉ ଯାହା ଆସିବ ଲାଭ ମୁଁ ଏକୁଟିଆ ନେବି ତାହେଲେ କେବେ ବି ହେଇପାରିବ ନାହିଁ ଯଦି ବା ହବ ସେଟା କୋଉଠି ନା କୋଉଠି ବନ୍ଦ ହେଇଯିବ କାହିଁକି one man show is always restricted to his own four walls. If it is a group villagers combined together ଯଦି ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତେ ମିଶିକି ଯଦି କରିବା ଯେତିକି ଯୁବକ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସମସ୍ତେ ଯଦି ଆମେ ୟାକୁ ପ୍ରଚାର କରିବା ପ୍ରସାରଣ କରିବା ଏବଂ ଲୋକଲୋଚନକୁ ଆଣିବା ତାପରେ ଆମେ ଦେଖିବା ଯେ ୟା ଭିତରେ ଆମର କେତେ ସ୍ୱାର୍ଥ ଅଛି କେତେ ଲୋକ ମାନେ କେତେ ଯୁବକ ଯୁବତୀ ମାନେ ଉପକୃତ ହେଇପାରିବେ ଏବଂ ଗାଁର ଉନ୍ନତି ହେଇପାରିବ ଆଉ ତାପରେ ସରକାର କଣ ଦଉଛି ଆମେ ସରକାର ପାଇଁ କଣ କରିପାରିବା ଏଇ ନିଷ୍ପତ୍ତି ନେଇକି ଯଦି ଆମେ ଚଳିବା ତାହେଲେ ସବୁତକ ସ୍କିମ୍ ଗୁଡା ବହୁତ ବଢିଆ ସ୍କିମ୍ କିନ୍ତୁ ଅଭାବ ମାନେ ଇନଫର୍ମେସନ ପଭର୍ଟି ଆମେ ଠିକ ସଚେତନତା ହେଇପାରୁନା ବା ଆମକୁ ସୂଚନା ଠିକ ସମୟରେ ମିଳିପାରୁନାହିଁ ଯାହାଫଳରେ କି ଆମେ ସବୁଦିନ ପାଇଁ ଗରିବ ହେଇକି ରହିଥିବେ ଆମେ କହୁଛୁ ଯେ we are rural even today even tomorrow even for lifelong even after 70 years of independence we will be poor and poorer. So this is not an excuse. The excuse is suppose if you come out with a determination. Everybody is there to help you. It's all government programs, not somebody's old Marwadi program or a one individual's approach program. So these things are approachable, can be done, and we should have determination. Where there is will, there is a way. ଆମେ ଏତେ ପାଠ ପଢୁଛେ ଏମେ ରୁରାଲ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ जो पाठ्यक्रम बा सर्टिफिकेट इन रूरल डेवलपमेंट कहतु पीजी डिप्लोमा इन रूरल डेवलपमेंट किंबा अदर डेवलपमेंट मास्टर डिग्री इन पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन मार्केटिंग सबुतक पाठ these are all leads to strengthen our developmental activities. ଆମେ ପାଠ ପଢୁଛେ କଣ ପାଇଁ just keeping the qualification as your end of the name add it in end of the name. No, we are reading or studying or achieving degrees for the betterment of service oriented to service to the public is service to the nation and the service to the God. So with that intention, let us work together, joining hands, so that we can achieve the targets given by the not only government, by the national employability or national youth policies and all. So if one program is success, most of us will be leading and getting very good results and will be enjoying it. So this is all about the schemes meant for different schemes meant for the rural development. Without these schemes, we have no life. If without employability, there is no use of studying or reading or spending time. If there is an employment opportunities, what sort of employability is there? the schemes are meant good for us unless we know we cannot achieve our targets. Not because we never bother the government schemes, but it is just in the cold storage. And nobody is there to ask the government, these schemes are there, why don't you give it to us? They starve or they beg or they borrow or they go away from the house but never demand their own rights available at their doorsteps. Even the some of the youth, they even never ask the sarpanch what the gram panchayat is doing and what are the programs meant for the village development, because we are not bothered. We are bothered only one sided. So this is how the rural development has become one of the uh, I can't say neglected, but it is one of the silent subject matter, though it has got a very good scope of earning. So let me stop here with the employment generation. Now I will go for the Rashtriya Mahila Course. एपर्यंत जहाँ भी मैं पढ़ी थी, it is based on the rural developmental activities. और यहाँ पर हमें जीवा महिला course where we can go through different types of schemes given to the women entrepreneurs or the financial aspects for the women organizations, where from they can draw loans in different schemes for the for the uh, for the survival, not only survival, for the development of women in our country. So here there are two things to decide. The most interesting thing is what is Rashtriya Mahila Course. This program is very interesting. It started in 1950s and it has got a microfinance scheme, we can call it as. And here the most interesting thing is we have World Bank assistance. In 1995, the World Bank estimated most developing countries, the formal financial system reaches only 25% of the economically active population. So the bottom 75% have no access to financial services apart from the money lenders. In India, too, the formal financial institutions have not been made able to reach the poor households, particularly women. In the recognized sector, structural overheads result in high cost of small loans. This is nothing but ଆମେ ଦେଖୁଛେ ଆଜିକାଲି ଗାଁ ଗହଳିରେ ଅଧିକାଂଶ ମହିଳାମାନେ କିଛି ଲୋନ୍ କରନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ ବା ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କକୁ ଯାଆନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ କିମ୍ବା ତାଙ୍କର କୌଣସି ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ବି ନଥାଏ ଫାଇନାନ୍ସିଆଲ ଇଏ ବୋଲି, ତେଣୁ they spend their time, they depend on the men folk. ଆଉ वर्ल्ड बैंक गोटे असेसमेंट करथिला जे केवल 75% लोन गुड़ा माने रूरल एरिया रे जाई परनी बा खर्च हेई परनी, केवल 25% तांकर लोन सहरांचल रे दिया होती। आ महिला माने बेसी आग्रह नहंती जे से पैसा गुड़ा केमिति खर्च करिवे एवं कोन काम रे लागिवो, कोन की प्रकार इंडस्ट्रीज किबा एंटरप्रेन्योर्स करिले तांकर उन्नति हबो। ए सब नहीं कि अधिकांश केस रे कोन हुए ना महिला कोर्स केवल ना को रही 1950s रो आरंभ हलानी। आश्चर्यर कथा एपर्यंत केही भी जानि नंती एटा केवल महिला मानक पई हेची। आ केतटा महिला एठो ए महिला कोर्स रो सहाय्य नै परचंती बा कोनसी लोन बा तांकर विपत्ति बेले सहाय्य लोडुचंती। तेणु এটা ଗୋଟେ ଚ୍ୟାଲେଞ୍ଜିଂ ବିଷୟ, ଯେହେତୁ ଆମେ ଜାଣିନେ ବା ଆମେ କାହାକୁ ଜଣାଉନେ ବା ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ପଡୁନାହିଁ। ଯେତେବେଳେ ଶେଷ ମୁହୂର୍ତ୍ତରେ ଯଦି ଗୋଟେ ମହିଳା ଚାହିଁବ किछिटा साहाय्य ये दरकार हेले से कोठिक जीव कौन कर केवल बैंक पछरे बुली बुली तार समयटा को कटौची तार जो अवशिष्ट समयटा से माइक्रो फाइनेंस माने कौन कोठी पैसा मिल से कथा भी से प्राय जानी पारना तेणु भारत गरीब संख्या बहुत बेसी during 1993 or 94 the planning commission estimated 36% of the population or the 320 million people living below the poverty line. Accordingly, there were about 140 to 150 million women living below the poverty line. And again now it has been increased to a lot, but we do not know still how many women below the poverty level are living, or they are depending. I mean, badly need the financial assistance. So this Rashtriya Mahila course, known as the National Credit for Women in 1993. So here it is a registered society of the Department of Women and Child Development in the Ministry of Human Resources Development, the Government of India. It has with the corpus of rupees 31 crores with the aim to supplement the effort of the banking sector by fulfilling the gap between the poor and the rich, poor and the not only rich, but the banking sector offers. So here the Mahila course is actually it's a very important organization, particularly for the women in our country. So unfortunately, no woman goes to this Mahila course because they are somehow they have self-sufficiency, or they manage the funds available with them, or they are shy to take the assistance of Mahila course. So these are all the some of the reasons. And comparatively, not only Odisha but all over the India the same position. এটা କେବଳ ଆମର ଓଡ଼ିଶାର ଦୁର୍ଭାଗ୍ୟ ବୋଲି ଆମେ କହିପାରିବାନି, এটা ପୁରା ପୃଥିବୀରେ ଇନକ୍ଲୁଡିଂ ଡେଭଲପିଂ କଣ୍ଟ୍ରିଜ ବିଦେଶରେ ବି ପ୍ରାୟ କେହି ଏ ସଂସ୍ଥାରୁ ସାହାଯ୍ୟ ନିଅନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ ବା ସେମାନଙ୍କର ପାଖକୁ ଆପ୍ରୋଚ କରନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ, କିମ୍ବା ଏଇଭଳିଆ ଗୋଟେ ସଂସ୍ଥା ଅଛି ବୋଲି ବି ସେମାନେ କେବେ ଜାଣିନାହାନ୍ତି, ଯାହା ଫଳରେ ସଂସ୍ଥା ତା ନାଁରେ ଏମାନେ ଗରିବ ନାଁରେ କେବେ ବି ଏମାନେ କ୍ରେଡିଟ ନେବାର ସୁବିଧା ବା ସୋସିଆଲ ସର୍ଭିସ କରିବାର ଫାଇଦା ଏମାନେ କେବେ ନେଇନାହାନ୍ତି ବା ନେବା ପାଇଁ ବି ଚାହୁଁନାହାନ୍ତି। So promote research, study, dissemination, analysis of the role of the credit and its management. এই সংস্থা জরিয়ারে ଆମେ ରିସର୍ଚ୍ଚ ବି କରିପାରିବା ଏବଂ promotion of credit, ଧାର ଉଧାର ନିଆ ଦିଆ। Actually ବିଜନେସ ମାନେ କ'ଣ? ବିଜନେସ ମାନେ ସମସ୍ତେ ତ ଘରୁ ହିଁ ପଇସା ଆଣିକି ବିଜନେସ କରନ୍ତି ନାହିଁ, କିଛି ବାଧ୍ୟ ସେମାନେ କିଛି ପଇସା ପତ୍ର ଧାର କରିବାକୁ ପଡେ ଏବଂ ତାକୁ ହିଁ ସେମାନେ ପୁଣି ଆସ୍ତେ ଆସ୍ତେ ସୁଝିକି ନିଜର ସଂସ୍ଥାଟାକୁ ବଢେଇକି ନେବେ। So ଥରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଇଭେନ ଟାଟା ବିର୍ଲା ବି ସେମାନେ ଜନ୍ମରେ ହିଁ ନୋଟ ଗଦା ନେଇକି ଆସିନଥିଲେ ବା ସୁନା ରୂପା ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ଜନ୍ମ ହେଇନାହାନ୍ତି, ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ବି ଯାହା ପଇସା ଅଛି ତାଙ୍କ ବୁଦ୍ଧି ଖଟେଇ ଆସ୍ତେ ଆସ୍ତେ ତାଙ୍କ ବିଜନେସଟାକୁ ସବୁଦିନ କିଛି ନା କିଛି ଉନ୍ନତି କରିକି ଆଜି ଏଇ ଅବସ୍ଥାରେ ଆସି ପହଞ୍ଚିଛନ୍ତି। ଆମେ ବି ଯଦି ଆମର ରୁରାଲ ଓମେନ ଯଦି ଆକ୍ଟିଭ ହେବେ, ଏଇଭଳିଆ ସବୁ ସ୍କିମ ବିଷୟରେ ଯଦି ଜାଣିବେ, ସେମାନେ ବି ପୁରୁଷମାନଙ୍କ ସାଙ୍ଗରେ ସମାନ ହିସାବରେ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ରୁରାଲ ଡେଭଲପମେଣ୍ଟ ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଟିଜ ଯଦି ଆଗକୁ ନେବେ, ତାହେଲେ ହୁଏତ ଆଉ ଓଡ଼ିଶା ଗରିବ ରାଜ୍ୟ ହେଇକି ରହିବନି ବା ଆମେ କୌଣସି ଦେଶକୁ ପଇସା ଅଭାବ ବୋଲି ଆମେ କୋଉଠୁ ଧାର ଉଧାର ବି କରିବା ନାହିଁ। And this scheme is meant for only loan credit facility. It challenged through eligible organization to needy women in a simple, flexible manner without instances on any type of collateral. Actually, eligibility कौन सी इमाने जेतु महिला माने इंडिविजुअली कई आसी पारनांती बा एसएचजी ग्रुप माध्यम रे पहुंची पारनांती महिला कोर्स कौन करछि याकु टिके लिबरलाइज कर देछि कौन से एनजीओ वॉलंटियर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन कौन से एजेंसी माध्यम रे भी आसिकी से माने ए फैसिलिटी को नहीं परिबे विशेष करके आम ओडिसा रे एनजीओ मान को भी विभिन्न काम राज्य सरकार किसी काम एक्टिविटीज दौची एवं लोन भी दौची आ दरकार पड़े से मान को पय किसी किसी स्कीम्स भी सरकार काम गुड़ा भी दायित्व से मान को दिया जाए या व्यक्ति तो जो बैंक गुड़ा ऋण को मैं बैंक जरिया जो ऋण कि सब ट्रांजेक्शन गुड़ा बैंक जरिया करती कहीं अकाउंटेबिलिटी रहा एनजीओ मैंने हो सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप हो कि कौन से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन सरकार मैंडेटरी कर देती जहाँ जहाँ से पैसा पत्र कारबार हम सब बैंक जरिया हम दे आर अकाउंटेबिलिटी मैंने कौन सी वेलफेयर स्कीम बा कौन सी प्रॉफिटेबल काम जब करिया पड़ो यहाँ ट्रांसपेरेंट होकी एवं से कौ क्षेत्र में केते टंका खर्च कले तार हिसाब किताब भी ठीक ठाक समय पाइबे और लोन दवापाई महिला कोर्स कौन सी देरी भी हम नहीं कहीं ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मान को अति सहज देदेव इंडिविजुअल को देला बेलू तार वेरिफिकेशन कर तो सुझी पार कि नहीं दे पार कि नहीं तार फैमिली बैकग्राउंड कौन एसबू जेहेतु कटकणा रोचे सीधा सड़क गोटे संस्था जरिया ये टंका गोटे ग्रुप ऑफ इंडिविजुअल they can raise it for the betterment of the organization. तापरे women's development corporations WDCs एगुड़ा भी महिला को संगे एगुड़ा भी केतटा काम करछंती इमानकर काम हला वुमेन मानकर विभिन्न संस्था गुड़ा जो गुड़ा अच्छी मेन लोन गुड़ा स्कीम गुड़ा जो गुड़ा अच्छी से गुड़ा को गाइड करवा सचेतनता करवा जरिया गुड़े लोन्स एगुड़ा सब एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन संभाड़ा 3 वर्ष हेले एलिजिबिलिटी लोन अच्छी कि नहीं कागज पत्र ठीक ठाक करवा एगुड़ा सब हूँ वुमेन डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन रो काम आ वुमेन डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन वन ऑफ द सपोर्टिंग हैंड टू द एसएचजी ग्रुप एंड आल्सो महिला कोर्स मेंबर्स एनी वुमेन जेकोसी वुमेन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जदि किसी आसी पारना सहयोग जदि से लोड़ती ताले वुमेन्स डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन बोली गोटे संस्था अच्छी जो जो मैंने कि एमनकर लिंकेज ट्रेनिंग खाता पत्र ठीक ठाक रखा आर एलिजिबिलिटी कौन कले कौन आसो कौन थी कौन पाइबे सेगुड़ा सब से दायित्व बुझेगा सब कम से माने कर सुटेबल स्टेट गवर्नमेंट एजेंसीज या संगे राज्य किसी एजेंसी भी अच्छा जो मैंने कि जमी ट्रस्ट गुड़ा है कौन से इंस्टीट्यूशंस गुड़ा है से माने भी वुमेन डेवलपमेंट कमिशन को वुमेन डेवलपमेंट अनुष्ठान मान को साहाय्य जोगे दिखती जदि if one loan is cleared, these Mahila Samitis or Mahila Mandals or the SSG groups, they are eligible for again getting a loan. Once the loan is over, they can get the other loan. And also maximum amount of loan. In case of individual, the maximum loan is only 15,000. 15,000 टंका केवल गोटे इंडिविजुअल मेंबर इन महिला SSG ग्रुप कौन सी एनजीओ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जदि थाए से केवल 15,000 पर्यंत लिमिटेशन से पाइबो जदि ग्रुप है अधिक पैसा से पाइबे गोटे ग्रुप रे जदि नेबे 8 से किस्ती तांको सुझिया पड़ो 36 months रे 8टा कि 10टा क्वार्टरली इंस्टॉलमेंट्स रे से पैसा से सुझिया पड़ो एमती ग्रुप रे हेले अधिका पैसा पाइबे the rate of interest is also 8% or something like that so एबे अवश्य कोन कम बेसी हेतिबो किंतु the minimum percent in 2000 2005 it was 8%. So it's fluctuating according to the Reserve Bank of India. The interest rate is fixed from time to time. So the margin money to be contributed by the borrowers. margin money भी थार जदि ऋण टा ठीक टाइम रे सुझी गले किछटा पैसा हमको छाड़ कर दिए जाए तेणु से इंटरेस्ट किसी इंटरेस्ट फ्री भी पाई परिबा आउ थे अप्लाई करने भी आमर इंसेंटिव्स इंटरेस्ट रेट गुड़ा परिवर्तन हो पारिबो so these are all the things for the what is called the SSG groups organizations women organizations and also some of the NGOs these are all responsible together for the development loan promotion schemes microcredit for education and skill upgradation हमें किसी लोन माइक्रोक्रेडिट भी पाई परिबा तापरे support for crop credit and off farm activities for women जेतले महिला मानकर किसी एग्रीकल्चरल असुविधा किसी जदि हला सेठी भी से लोन नहीं परिबे support for small consumption loans छोट लोन भी दरकार पड़े से नहीं परिबे तापरे बिल क्रेडिट स्कीम 5 केजी चावल एगुड़ा भी क्रेडिट नहीं परिबे इक्वल इंस्टॉलमेंट so here there are so many schemes so one can survive the best way they lead the best life राष्ट्रीय रोजगार योजना needs lot of awareness programs provide publicity and nodal agency scheme is also strengthen the hands of the women particularly revolving fund scheme is also there self-help groups development scheme is also there and these are all get together we can say is a good sign for the women those are interested in the entrepreneurship so this chapter is now completed the self-help groups is actually comparative to other states Odisha is lagging behind you will find the self-help groups in other parts of the country they are very fast and they have almost most of the organizations they have become crorepati's and now they are funding to the political parties and also they are funding to the government bigger projects and they have become one of the part in the district administration or the state administration so these activities so for the financial conditions are concerned, we have to be very careful and every day is important for us for the development. So here again, we'll name some of the role of the financial institutions in rural development. The financial institutions like NABARD is there, IDBI bank is there, and also NSFDC. So these are all some of the agencies. NABARD is National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development. NABARD. In its name itself, rural development is there. जो NABARD गोटे बैंक टा हमर भुवनेश्वर भी अच्छे सब स्टेट मनकर भी अच्छे this has started in the year 1980 and a matter of immediate concern is the decline between the 1980 to 1990 and it has worked for the agricultural developmental activities. In rural development, the major role is the agriculture. So if agriculture is strengthened, I think the rural development 50% of the problems should be solved and the rural people will be otherwise engaged. And also the NABARD is one of the bank which gives the financial assistance, timely loans. Financial institutions can go a long way in promoting cooperative self-help and family security. So it is possible to outline the significance of financial institutions in our country's rural development on the basis of the work done so far. When we do that, we notice certain clear landmarks. Perhaps the first thing which strikes us is the contribution of the services provided by the banks. Notable transformation has been witnessed. So here in NABARD is a transactional process of assisting farmers and also financing them at the right time for the right yield for the better production of the agricultural products. So here domestic products and sometimes the products also uh, related to the export import also. For all these things in a broader way, NABARD takes place an active part, monitors, conducts research-oriented analytical reports, data collections, and it interviews the each and every farmer working in different fields, and also the agricultural uh, developmental process. So this is how the NABARD is one of the leading institutions, financial institutions, which plays an active role in the rural development. And we have it actually was set up as an apex development bank in the year 1982. The NABARD has set up an apex development bank in 1982. The comments of this bank probably solved almost all the difficulties of the farmers. So the bank takes its own interest for the development, all-round development of the agricultural these things. Next comes Industrial Development Bank of India, IDBI. So this has come up with promoting the financial assistance in 1964. It has come in 1964. The bank has started extending microcredit initiative, rural industrial programs, and also it deals with the it is well known as SIDBI, SIDBI, State Institute of Developmental Banks of India. The IDBI is again grow to be its subsidiary in 1990. So the SIDBI have been created by act of the parliament. When we do so, we find both elements continually in the change of operations. Here the SIDBI is uh, again promotion of agricultural industries, khadi village industries, and also some schemes scheduled for the uh, rural promotional schemes, and also Mahila Udyam Nidhi, single window schemes, magnificent rural industries program. Again, it is SEDBI is reported to small scale industries sector in 1999. And then comes National Scheduled Cash Finance and Development Corporation, NSFDC. This is actually uh, this has the financial institution, uh, public finance institution, introduced in the year 1989 again, and its basic idea is to provide financial assistance, microfinance initiatives to the scheduled cash developmental scheduled caste development corporation, and the rural areas rupees 40,000 per annum. It was giving to each lower income families as a supportive. So micro credit initiative, the National Scheduled Caste Scheduled Tribe Development Corporation too has schemes of microcredit for lower income scheduled people, and also needs assessment and quality opportunity profiles. So accountability to the beneficiaries. These are all the some of the supporting microfinance institutions where they used to get a lot of facilities. Like that, there are so many other institutions. The one thing I must make it clear, जो संस्था गुड़ा मु एबे कहिछि एगुड़ा केवल एमानक पई विशेष करके ग्रामीण उन्नयन कार्यक्रम पई ए अनुष्ठान गुड़ा कुआ जाउछि। या व्यतीत अन्य बैंक, नेशनल बैंक, सर्वसाधारण फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन, तापर जो डिपार्टमेंट गुड़ा अच्छी, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ इंडस्ट्रीज, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ SC/ST, डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ आपनकर एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन, एगुड़ा समस्ते पुणी अधिका बरन साहाय्य एक्सटेंड करिवे आ सेगुड़ा अच्छी बोली माने केबे भी मना करि परिबे नाही। सो ओवरऑल रूरल डेवलपमेंट स्कीम ता बहुत बढ़िया स्कीम, बहुत भल भाव लोक जदि जानी जानी परिवे, जदि सचेतनता हो जिवे बा ताकर विभिन्न स्कीम विषय जदि से माने इन्फॉर्म कराइथिबो ताले स्काई इज द लिमिट। रूरल डेवलपमेंट गोटे एमतिया सब्जेक्ट बोधे पूरा भारत रे केही गरीब रहिबेनी, आ गरीब बोली शब्दटा ही कोठी सुबिबो नहीं। आ तापरे पैसा पत्र आमे जानी गले सीधा 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 सड़क रास्ता आमे कौन कले आमे केमती बंची परिबा एवं बंचिया पे हेले को संस्था मान को आमे धरिबा को पड़िबो एवं तमठु कामटा को हासिल करिया पड़िबो। सबुठ असुविधा होची कोन, आमे जो जगह रे हमरो दाबी अछि सेठी आमे केबे भी जाऊ, आमे बेकार अन्य लोकन पाखरे जुरी हेताउ जे कि सुधरे पैसा दबो ता पाखरे हम 10 थर जोड़तुआ, आ जे लोन दवा पे मना करतो ता पाखरे हम 100 थर जाउतुआ। तापर हमर हक अछि गोटे ए जो अनुष्ठान माने मु सब कहितली एटा केवल आम मानक पई अछि, आम मानक पई माने रूरल डेवलपमेंट रो सीधा सड़क संस्था गुड़ा जो माने के काम करचंती एमानठु आमे आम कामटा को हासिल करिया को पड़िबो। तेणु ए सब स्कीम जदि आमे जानिथिबा, एमाने सब सरकारी कर्मचारी ही इतरे बेसी अंतर्भुक्त। तेणु हमर काम गुड़ा आमे का को बिको मागिबा नहीं, आमे बरो आमे पूरा से झांपी कि नबा, जेहेतु हमर हक अछि, हमर अधिकार अछि, आम पई ही ए पांची थुआ हेछि। ए सब स्कीम गुड़ा जति कहली ए सब गुड़ा आराम रे आमे आम गाँव रे बसिकी करि परिबा। So this is all about this. Chapter number 4 I have already taught you 2 times. The last the rural basic services and infrastructure. And the infrastructure, I would like to tell you only one thing. जोटा ब्रिटिश अमल जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर रही वर्ष वर्ष धरी गाँ गहली बर्तमान चली आसुची, जमती हल करवा बलद को लेकिन हल करवा कि गोटे फसल वर्ष को आम सीजन वाइज आम चाष करवा। जहाँ अच्छी पुराणा कालिया केवल आम 14 पुरुष चाष करुले धान, एबे भी आम सेया करवा। एसबू कनसेप्ट जो आम पछुआ हो जाऊे, या आम टे चिंता करके जब देखा कौ जमी कौ फसल भल कि हम ताले आम ताकू जदि आम ग्रहण करवा एवं से नूतन पद्धति बा रिसर्च ओरिएंटेड टाइप रो जदि चाष आम करवा, अल्प समय बेसी आमदानी हम, फायदा भी हम, फाइनेंशियली भी स्ट्रांग हम। तापर आम आ पुराणा ये जुगरे ना हो जे आम जमी कौ भाया माटी अच्छी आ कौ भाया फसल आम लाभदायक एगुड़ा सब आम तथ्य गुड़ा सरकार पाइबा तेणु यही विषय में आउे कहवाई चाहूँगी ऑनलाइन मैनेजमेंट एंड मॉनिटरिंग सिस्टम ट्रेनिंग एंड कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग आम दीटा जिनस ये दिगरे चिंता करिया पड़ो आम ऑनलाइन माध्यम रे मैनेजमेंट एंड मॉनिटरिंग अन्य देश रे केमती चाष होची आम देश रे केमती होची अन्य राज्य रे केमती होची आम राज्य रे केमती होची आम पड़ोसी भल करि पारुची आमे कांती करि पारु नहीं से विषय रे तथ्य करिया पे आमे मॉनिटरिंग दरकार आउे मैनेजमेंट भी दरकार आम से भाया मैनेजमेंट करवा मु गरीब मो पारे पैसा नहीं मु करी नहीं खाली लाभ ही दरकार ताले तो हो पारनी तुम जो अच्छ से जुग जुग से तेणु या विषय जदि कि आम जमीटा जदि थिबा जमीटा जदि आम भल फसल चाहवा भल आमदानी जदि चाहवा ट्रेनिंग एवं कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग ए दुटा जिनसर भी आवश्यकता रही आपन जानी ना शिक्षा कम अच्छी शिखी ना नूतन पद्धति गुड़ा जो आजिकल आसूची आमको गवेषणा करा पड़ो जाना पड़ो ट्रेनिंग नवाक पड़ो जदि निजे निजे जदि ट्रेन न होते पर आम के निर्भर करवा जमी तो निजर निजे केमती कले भल आमदानी हम ताप निजे को कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग भी आवश्यकता रही निजे केमती भल आमदानी कर कौन कौन योजना करा पड़ो कौन से प्रस्तुति करा पड़ो ये सब दिगरे भी आमको चिंता करा पड़ो एवं आमको से फायदा भी उठा पड़ो रिसोर्स मोबिलाइजेशन आम कौन एवं सब जिन अवेलेबल पैसा देवे सब आमको रिसोर्स गुड़ा सब मोबिलाइज करके आने पड़ो काली चाष हम ताप सब जिन गुड़ा आज आमको आनिक संग्रह करा So these are some of the techniques where the research oriented or you can say mobilization and whatnot, all these things clubbed together is your activity for the better development of the rural development. Okay, this is the closing now. The time is yours. You can ask any question, any doubt. Hello. Hello. Hello.
सर सुनो सर
हाँ शुभुची
आज्ञा सर
बर्तमान बुक 3टा ହେଇଗଲା 4टा भी मु आगु पढ़े देछि लास्ट गोटे चैप्टर थिला रिसर्च ऊपर सेटा भी हे जेछि आ किछि डाउट छै जदि पचारि परिबो
आज्ञा एटा ଟିକେ सम अप करिए टोटल टाइम माने यूनिट 3 टा खाली शॉर्ट शॉर्ट रे ଟିକେ सम अप करिए कि
कोटा 3टा
हां यूनिट 3 माने टोटल टा खाली सम अप ଟିକେ करंतु
हाँ सम अप कर देछि ऑलरेडी तथापि जदि कहू तो आउथरे मु कर देबी एथरे किछि नै सब होछि रूरल डेवलपमेंट रो स्कीम
आज्ञा
विशेष करके सरकारी योजना जोटा कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर रोजगार योजना PMRY तार ऑब्जेक्टिव कौन से ए स्कीम टाको कहीं सरकार ये कला 1994-95 रे ए स्कीम टाको इंट्रोड्यूस करा गला सब 5 वर्ष प्लान रे अंतर्भुक्त करा ए स्कीम रे अनएजुकेटेड अनएम्प्लॉयड युवक मान 18 ରୁ 35 वर्षर युवक युवती मान स्कीम टा कराई SC ST एक्स सर्विसमैन वुमेन हेले 45 वर्ष पर्यंत बयस सीमा ये कराई चाकरीटा सरपंच निजे गाँव रे ही मिल यार आगे थिला फूड फॉर वर्क जदि चाकरी काम करिवो संध्या हेले धान कि चावल डाली एगुड़ा दिया होता एबे ताको हटे देकी सीधा सड़क पैसा दिया होची से पैसा चेंज होची आगे 100 टका थिला 240 एमती है कि सेटा मिनिमम वेज एक्ट रे जेतल जा होची से पैसा दिया हो एटा होची बेरोजगारी लोकन को पय गोटे बहुत बड़ बरदा किंतु आमे मूर्ख आमे कौन करछो ना केबे भी जन जदि भूख है से सीधा लोक कौन कर ना सहर को पलाउची किंबा अन्य राज्य को पलाउची से जानी जे ता घर पाखरे जवाहर रोजगार योजना स्कीम पे गोटे अच्छी जो थे कि से बंची जाई परिवो एवं किसी पैसा तार जीवन ये शैली आराम रे चली पारिबो तेणु एगुड़ा सब रूरल डेवलपमेंट स्कीम सबुठ भल स्कीम हूँ रूरल डेवलपमेंट अन्य स्कीम रे केतले लॉस हो जिवो केतले आमे ठीक तार फायदा उठे परिबनी किंतु भारत सरकार स्कीम जोटा अच्छी आ राज्य सरकार भी एथिरे परसेंटेज भी अच्छी किंतु 100% रूरल डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम से खेती नहीं लाभ ही अच्छी जे खटिबो से पैसा पाइबो जे चाहेबो से जोग दे पारिबो बुझिपारना आउ को स्कीम को तापर महिला कोष एसएचजी एगुड़ा तो सर्वसाधारण हेलो
आज्ञा समझ सर
हाँ आउ अन्य स्कीम गुड़ा जो गुड़ा अच्छी एसएचजी सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप तो समस्या हमें जानते ना
आज्ञा
जाने
सर जाने सर
तापर महिला कोष सब गूगल सर्च कले महिला कोष आसीबो सेतरे से बर्तमान अचल होई पड़ती कहीं एते शुद्ध कषि दउचंती केही सेफ्टी की महिला माने जाउनांती से पैसा भी नौना ताट ऊपर बैंक रू नै जाउचंती घर पाख जाना होला
आज्ञा
एती अनेक गुड़ा सब मु जहाँ जहाँ बुझे ए स्कीम रो के कलेक्टर निजे गोटे मेंबर चेयरमैन वीडियो एमान सब अछंती किंतु स्कीम टा भलो किंतु लोकंकर बोकामी एठी पाखरे काम करिवे नै पळेबे दूर को तापे के कोन करे करिवो आ लोकंकर गोटे आशा इवन मोर तमर भी से आशा जे कोटी जे पैसा अधिका मिलते सेठी पळेबा हैला
आज्ञा
जीवन
सर ए जो
भर
नाबार्ड माने गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया रो बैंक
100% सब्सिडी डिक्लेयर्ड बाय पार्लियामेंट जेमती अन्य नेशनलाइज्ड बैंक से बोले नाबार्ड भी गोटे बैंक
एटा केवल एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर रे हेल्प करियो
नहीं आजकल अन्य सेक्टर भी करुच्ची बहुत
आज्ञा
कम तार यार उद्देश्य है केवल एग्रीकल्चर मान को सहयोग कर तो से एग्रीकल्चर सहयोग ये फंडिंग दे पारनी अन्य कोड जीव से
आज्ञा सर
एग्रीकल्चर मेशिनरी किनिबो बिहान किनिबो ताकर नुआ जदि स्कीम किछि आसिला तो इंट्रोड्यूस करैबो चाषी मानकर दुख बुझिबो कोठी खेती हला चाषी की ऋण दबो एटा बहुत बड़ दायित्व काम से काम करूना सेटा अलग कथा ये तो काम करिवे ताले सीमा बाहर सब चाषी माने मालामाल हो जिवे आ कोन से आय सबसे भी तांको तुलना रे
माने एटा अलगा बैंक थारु टिके माने सुधटा कम नहीं कि
सुधटा
हेलो सर
परिस्थिति की नहीं शुद्धटा परिस्थिति को नहीं किंतु शुद्ध कम बेले बेले शुद्धटा को ये कर दियंती भी बेवाप भी कर दियंती
आज्ञा
बेवाप माने शुद्ध नियंती भी नहीं जदि खेती होला हैला
आज्ञा आज्ञा
ए बैंक रो काम हैला चाषी चाषी लॉस रे पड़िबो नहीं चाषी को सब प्रकार सुविधा दिया हबो हैला आ से मन एरिया स्पेसिफिक धर मरुभूमि रे चाषी रो लोन अलगा जंगल रो चाषी रो लोन अलगा आ नई कूल रे चाषी मानकर स्कीम अलगा हैला
आज्ञा
से माने निष्पत्ति नेबे से चेयरमैन बड़ बड़िया सब बसिकी निष्पत्ति नहीं कि तार केते लोन केते सुधरे दियाबो बा ऋण को चाषी को केते मात्रा रे सहायता करि परिबे से माने सेठी निष्पत्ति नेबे एटा एक्चुअली डिबेट करे आ समस्त को एका प्रकार स्केल रे मापिक तो ऋण दिया जाए ना बा सहायता करा जाए नहीं दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम
ए जो सर नाबार्ड अंडर माइक्रो क्रेडिट इनिशिएटिव
क्रेडिट तो मस्ट क्रेडिट तो दबो ही दबो है ना आ केते क्रेडिट कोन दे को केस रे केते दबो सेटा तांकर बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स बसी निष्पत्ति नेबे
ठीक है सर इट इज क्लियर
आ तमरो असाइनमेंट गुडा देखो असाइनमेंट गुलो जा दबा कथा दे दबो हैला
आगे
हां हो ताले हां बाय
थैंक यू सर